Right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight on this Thursday evening. I hope everybody's enjoying the sun. It's as sunny as it is with you guys as it is here. Thank you for joining tonight's webinar called Career Pathways for Young People with Sight Loss. My name is Lauren Osborne-Lewis, and I'm going to be your host this evening. We know at Retina UK that navigating education, training, employment with sight loss can feel overwhelming and at times really confusing. So tonight we're joined by 4 individuals who've carved out different career paths, and they're here to share their personal journeys, challenges and support that help them on those journeys. Tonight I have the pleasure of speaking to each of these individuals and have the opportunity to discuss with them about their experiences and also their potential plans for the future. And we'll hopefully have some time at the end of our webinar to answer some of the questions that you may have. Now, before we begin, I just want to go over some housekeeping bits. The webinar is being recorded. You will be able to access the recording after the event on the Retina UK website, on our YouTube and on our Spotify channels for an audio version. If you've already signed up for the event, we will also be emailing it out to you with the links. And it will also be shared on our social media channels. As I said, there will be opportunity for you to ask all sorts of questions at the end of the webinar, and we'll be collecting them as we go. Please feel free, though, to submit your questions in the Q&A section throughout the webinar. You don't need to wait until the end to submit them. We'll just keep a catalogue of them and then I'll ask them at the end. If you are on a laptop or a computer, you'll be able to find the Q&A at the bottom of your screen. Whereas if you're on a tablet or a phone, you should be able to see it under the tab reactions. As I said, I'll moderate them and we can ask them at the end. And if we do run out of time, which sometimes we can, and you have some questions, I'll make sure to follow up via email. So we're going to start by meeting our panelists this evening. Thank all of you for joining us. Can I first ask that each of you introduce yourself, talk about your name, your sight loss condition, and where you currently are in your education or your career. I'll say your name, and then if you could introduce yourself. So Aysha, could we start with you, please?
Hi, hi everyone. My name is Aysha, as Lauren said. I have cone rod dystrophy. I'm 23 years old currently, and I'm currently studying a master's in clinical mental health sciences at the University College London.
Thank you so much. Ryan.
I'm Ryan Taylor. I'm 24. Currently, I'm an employability mentor / landscaper. So I've done many jobs over the years, so I've got quite a wealth of knowledge for this subject.
Perfect. And Lauren.
Hi, I'm Lauren. So I'm a bit of a question mark when it comes to diagnosis. So they're not sure whether it's RP or whether it's like there's other options basically. And at the moment I'm doing a master's in social work. I'm just about to go into my second year. And I'm 30. I don't know if I should really be classed as a young person, but
yes. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank all 3 of you for introducing yourself. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into sort of a discussion with each of you, kind of just to get the nitty gritty of all of your experiences. So Aysha, I'm going to start with you tonight. Can you please tell us a bit about your background with education up to where you are now with doing your master's?
So my background in education, it seems like a million miles ago, but honestly just was a couple of years ago. I did my degree in psychology after my 3 A levels. And when I started my degree, no, after my degree finished, I finally realized the career I wanted to pursue, which was to become a psychologist. So kind of ever since then, everything that I've been doing has been kind of to pursue that career goal. So I've done a lot of courses, I do a lot of volunteering, and then now I'm currently doing my master's now.
Yeah, lovely. And can you expand a little bit more about why psychology was the route you wanted to go down? Was there anything in particular you found
It's really
interesting?
funny because, growing up, obviously my mum knew of my eye condition because it is degenerative, and she always used to say to me, why don't you become a therapist? Because it doesn't matter how much your eyesight deteriorates, you can always just listen to people because that's what therapists do. And I always said, like, okay. And I always had it at the back of my mind, but then I'm the type of person that gives 100% to whatever I'm doing. So when I was doing my A levels, I did my A levels in psychology, politics, and sociology. I gave 100% to when I was studying, and I mostly focused on psychology. And I thought, I'm quite good at it. I will pursue it as a degree. So I then did my degree. Throughout my degree, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was literally just focused on my studies. And then after my degree finished, I was literally looking up, what do I do now? I have a psychology degree, and I saw the word a doctorate in psychology, and I was like, that's it.
Lovely. And how are you finding your masters so far?
You know what? I'm absolutely loving my master's. I'm so glad that I pursued it. It wasn't my idea, it was actually my mom's idea. She just said, it would look really good on your applications and stuff. But I've loved my master's. I've learned, so much, and UCL is such an amazing university. They've been so above and beyond, accommodating everything that I need. So yeah, I've loved it.
Yeah, that's so lovely to hear. And actually, that was going to be my next question around how do you find support at your university, especially around accessibility with your studies?
Yeah, so I'm quite, I know exactly what I need, and I just need the university to accommodate that, and they were incredible. I said to them before I start the course, is there someone who could show me around the campus just so I know where my classrooms are? And they were like, yep, absolutely, we'll do that. And they did. And I said I can't read paper, so I need all my materials in electronic format, and they said, yep, we'll do that. And they've just been really amazing. And even, my classmates who are now my friends, they've been really kind of accepting and welcoming of my visual impairment. So it's been really nice.
Yeah, that's so great to hear. So would you say, if you were to give our listeners here a top tip for maybe going to university or studying a master's, that it would be a good idea to go with a list of things that you might need so that they know how to best accommodate?
Yeah, I think just knowing what you need best, and at the end of the day, the university have to accommodate that, and a lot of unis will. So I think that, and just, go for it. I think people are really scared when they start university, and I was too when I started my degree, but everyone is literally in the same boat. So I would definitely just say, just go for it.
Yeah, great. Lovely. Now I know, well, and also people who have joined our webinars before may recognize your face, may recognize your voice, because you did a stint with us here at Retina UK. You were part of the TPT Get Set program, and you did that through Retina UK. Can you talk a bit about that experience and how you found it?
Yeah, so I was a research intern and I absolutely loved it. I had a manager, and just everyone at Run UK were just, so incredible. The role I learned, it wasn't just particularly in research. I did a lot of things throughout the charity. So it was a really great experience.
Yeah, you were a fab help. How did you hear about the program? How did you apply for it? All of those sort of logistical things.
I think it was my mom who told me about it. Yeah, she told me about it, and now I actually have a friend who I've just referred to the internship program as well. So it is a really good program. Yeah.
It sounds like your mum is the fountain of knowledge, and she's
Yeah.
helped to really guide you along your journey. Yeah.
Yeah, she really has. Yeah.
So if we had somebody who was on this webinar currently and they were saying, like, I'm not sure if I can do this, what advice would you give to that?
Well, I think firstly I would say it's completely normal and natural. Even I, have doubts, and I think everyone has doubts. And I think it's, not just a part of being visually impaired or having a disability, but a part of being human, to be honest. But I think I would say just, go for it. And, yeah, I can't really say any more than that because, I had the doubts, and I, had to work through it. And I think when I started my internship program and with all my volunteering work, it just gave me more confidence to say that I can, do it, and that my visual impairment, will never stop me. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah, just go for it.
Yeah, that's really lovely advice. Thank you. Now I'm going to ask you a question that might be a little annoying because it's always annoying when somebody's finishing their studies. But have you had any plans for any thoughts about what after masters might be?
Yeah, so you know what, I'm actually currently looking into jobs, even though my course doesn't finish until September. I like to keep busy, so I want something straight after my master's. Like, I just want to get stuck into something. So I'm still kind of looking for jobs and like things like that. My field is quite competitive, so I have that kind of working against me, but I'm pretty sure, I will find something. And as I said, going through applications and stuff like that, everyone has to go through it, and rejection and all these things are normal, but I really do believe that you will find the job that is best for you.
Yeah, it's such an optimistic outlook, and it's one that we all need. How are you finding the application process? Are you finding that again the formats of the applications are accessible to use?
Yeah, some of them are accessible. A lot of the jobs that I have to apply for, they're not just, sending in your CV. You have to write a whole kind of supporting statement, and then I find it really annoying because I hate having to read stuff back, just to make sure punctuation and grammar and all these things are like
Yeah.
really like they look good. So I would say that aspect of it is just really annoying. And as I've said, I have faced rejections, and I've had to kind of bounce back from that, and you just have to, keep going.
Yeah, agree. They say rejection is redirection, don't they? So something,
Really? Haven't heard of that
yeah.
one.
Yeah, I always hear that one. So yeah, they say like if you've been rejected for it, you're meant to, but it means a redirect to like another more positive route for you. So
Yeah, love that.
that's what we'll leave this with. Thank you so much, Aysha. I'm going to move on now to Ryan, but I'm sure we're going to have lots of questions for you at the end. But thank you for that. Ryan, you're up
Oh,
next. So can you talk about firstly your education as a child and then into any further studies that you did?
well, to start with, the school system in Scotland and England's a bit different. So we have like 7 years of primary school, and then you have a potential 4 to 6 years in the secondary. So we don't have like, I think in England you go to like a separate college for A levels or something.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
So we don't really do that. We've got like if you stay on to 5th year, you can get your hires, and then if you stay on to 6th year, you can either do more hires or advanced hires, and that's what gets you into university. So throughout the academy, I was, well, even the primary, I was quite academically smart. I always worked hard. I was always quite good at school, to be honest with you, even though I didn't get the support that I probably needed, especially in the primary. I think I've noticed even when I'm a bit older now that I've got a couple of wee gaps in knowledge. That's just even the simple things like being able to spell a certain word. I'll get it wrong because like when I was in primary school and we were doing spelling, when they put it up in the chalkboard, I couldn't see it, but at the time I didn't understand it. So then the teacher would just write it in my book, but then I would then find it hard to read. So it was
Yeah, you're
kind of,
not learning.
yeah,
Yeah.
not learning. So I think but the rest of the class would move on and I would have just skipped it kind of thing. But once I got into the academy, that kind of improved a bit. I started to speak up for myself a bit more, telling them exactly what I needed. So that just ended up being like getting the PowerPoint slides printed out into like landscape A4 and like 36 font or whatever.
Yeah.
And going through the academy in my 4th year, so that's the first year you sit your exams. That's your nationals. Your national fours are fives. So I done national fives. I got done really well in that, and then when I went into 5th and 6th year, I ended up with 7 hires, 2 A's, 4 B's, and a C. A lot of them are social subjects, to be honest with you. And then I've got my national 5 in maths. I was also head boy for my academy, which was really good. I got to organise the prom and different things like that. But then once I left the academy, that's when I got quite a shock because I went to university to study philosophy, sociology, and psychology. But at the University of Glasgow, which I know from speaking to other people now that have been after me, they've had to really, really fight for the support with their visual impairments. And I just didn't, when I was 18, I was kind of naive. I hadn't really met anyone else that was blind or knew where to contact for support. And I just kind of went into a kind of darker hole, and I only lasted till the Christmas, and I was already behind. The university was just saying to me, like, I was trying to explain to them that about my visual impairment, and they were just kind of saying, like, well, we'll give you an extra week, but that wasn't the problem. It wasn't the time that was the problem. It was the like getting the resources, kind of knowing how to navigate, being taught that. Their kind of attitude was, well, you're in university now, so you're an adult, you kind of have to do it yourself, which I think was a massive, massive mistake, to be honest with you. But as I said, I didn't advocate for myself in that, and then when I left university, I was in quite a dark place, but I quickly bounced back, used it as fuel, and I'm in a lot better place since.
Yeah, we can tell. It's very disappointing though. Like I said, it's disappointing to hear that there wasn't that in place. What do you think, if you were to go back in time now, what kind of advice would you give yourself? Or if there was somebody else who's at their university that is experiencing this, what would you say to them?
I think being able to have a big voice for yourself, no just taking no for an answer if you know that that's not the support that you need. Don't just accept like being undercut because they can't be bothered or whatever. Don't accept it. Just keep going, keep fighting for yourself. You need to advocate. No one else is going to do it, especially when you're going to university. There's no one there to hold your hand anywhere, so you need to do it for yourself.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thank you. Now after, obviously, like you said, you bounced back. And I know that you've had a couple of jobs that you've done, and like you said to us earlier, a bit of a jack of all trades. Can you talk us through some of the things that you've done so far?
Right. So I've worked in a carpet tile factory making carpet tiles. I've worked in a meat production company, which was also a factory. We are dealing with like raw meat, and it's the distribution and manufacturing of that. I got to the final 3 of the Modern Apprenticeship of the Year for Scotland through that company. And then I was there for 3 years, and then I left there because I was registered blind on the Friday, May the 30th on the Friday. And I left on the Monday because I wanted to go and pursue a career that I knew would last me and I would be fulfilled from. And then that leads me on to becoming an employability mentor a wee bit further down the line.
Yeah, wow. So yeah, quite a journey already. Would you say that you've had like key takeaways from each job that has like set you up for this one now?
Aye, probably. So I know I don't want to work in a factory doing the same job every day and staring at the same 4 walls, working with the same people all the time. I'm more sociable. I've also learned that not to accept that that's where you are and that's where you need to stay, because some of the people that I worked with in Brown Brothers, they were quite negative and like, well, you're blind, like this is probably the only thing you can do, like you'll need to just stay here, you're no better than this. And I was like, it got to the point where I was like, no, this isn't true. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And it's helped me know what I want, know what I need, and also I like to be able to pursue something, because as we'll come on to, I then went to a volunteering program, which then led me to the job.
Yes, which is going to be my next question. So do you want to talk us through that?
So the volunteering program is called Let's Get Employed. It's in Dumfries and Galloway. They've got a centre in Dumfries which help hundreds or thousands of kids throughout the region. It could be kids, it can be adults. We do a lot of different programs, but the one I was on was Let's Get Employed. So that just helps you build up all your soft skills, like your confidence, communication, and things like that. But then also teaching you like CV, interview preparation, all that kind of thing. I was in that program from, I think it was maybe the end of June, so I was only out at work for like a month before I went to something else, and I was in that program till I think it was October I got the job. So from like the end of June to October I was in the program.
And did you find it useful?
Oh, it was amazing, man. It was really, really good. It helped me bounce back quickly, because I think if I didn't do anything for a long time, then it could have been quite easy for me just to kind of like shy away from going back into work and getting myself back out there. So it wasn't just the skills I learned, it was also the kind of the emotions that I learned as well, how to deal with it and stuff.
Yeah, give you a good push into trying something as well. Do you want to talk us through about your role as an employee mentor? That was correct.
So it's employability mentor.
Employability mentor, sorry.
No, it's all right. So basically, as I was saying, I've worked with loads of kids. Some of them could have they could be neurodiverse. Some of them might have disabilities. I worked with a few people with visual impairments, hearing impairments. Some of them might just be like anxious and maybe dealing with anxiety and depression and stuff, or maybe even just needing a bit of help trying to find a job. But a lot of the people that I worked with was kind of from 16 to 30, and then I also worked with people that were parents to help them get into work. There was, I think, the people working with the people with disabilities, I kind of thrived at. I think my boss David, he kind of employed me to try and maybe further that a bit within the business to try and kind of improve that standard.
Yeah, of course. Sorry, you froze there. It's like, yeah, you'd be a great role model. Like you said, you've had such a journey already that you could just pass all of that knowledge on as well. So that must be really fulfilling for you as well, just to get to know these people and see them thrive. Now, I know from our discussion before that you said you've done a lot of work in employment around accessibility in the workplace. Do you want to talk us through that?
So within 2 weeks of joining the business, I went to the owner and asked him if I could deliver staff training, which taking a lot of guts, to be honest with you, but it was quite a hard thing to do 2 weeks in after just not long meeting the people and stuff. But I thought for me to give the kids and the young adults and anyone that we were working with the best opportunity, we had to learn how to adapt and know what jobs that they would thrive in and know what their skills are and what they couldn't do. So I developed a PowerPoint training, which deals with like whether a job's suitable, unsuitable, suitable with adaptations, or suitable with education and training. So I broke it down into 4 categories and created it myself. And the way I explained it was, so suitable for me would be an employability, would be working in the factory, because I was just standing in the same place every day, manual labour kind of thing. Unsuitable would be me being a taxi driver. It's just never going to happen, is it? And then suitable with education and training, that would be like someone going to university. Like, as we're saying, Aysha, with becoming a psychologist, that's still suitable. And then the other one was suitable with adaptations. So I would explain that as me being an employability mentor, because I needed like a bigger screen monitor. I maybe needed like a desk lamp. I maybe needed someone to be printing stuff out a bit bigger for me. So it's just the wee adaptations that allow me to work. So if we then link that to the person who we're trying to help, we try and gather their skills, gather the things that are called barriers to employment, which is all about what is stopping you getting a job, basically. So for me, it would be like travel, my visual impairment, and maybe the place where I stay, because I'm in quite a rural area, so there's a lack of jobs. So once you understand what your barriers to employment are, you can then move that on to like tracking back to my training, because if you've got the barriers, you can link that in with what jobs would suit, and then you can list that, and then we create a plan. How are we going to get there, basically, and take all the steps. What kind of training? So we'll do some like soft skill training, build your confidence. If you're maybe going to go and work in a shop or customer service, you need to be quite confident and able to communicate. So it would then give us a plan and an idea what we need to work on, so we weren't wasting our time doing other things.
Yeah, that sounds so useful. I imagine it was received really well by your.
They absolutely loved it.
Yeah, and I imagine you'll probably be doing it year on year now when they get new staff and stuff.
Hopefully,
Yeah. Now, the last thing I just want to talk about was some of the work that you're doing and volunteering at Retina UK. Do you want to just talk a little bit about that?
I don't really know where to start. I'm doing quite a bit, to be honest. So I'm helping out with the young adults peer support group on the WhatsApp chat. I've done a previous webinar for the young adults. I can't remember what the name was. Was it empowering young people with?
It was literally that, empowering young people with sight loss. Yeah.
So I've been doing that. I'm doing this tonight. I'm also going to be doing like a bit of speaking at the conference in September. Just a wee plug for you, Lauren.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I don't know. I'm just really trying to the knowledge that I've gathered and stuff. I'm just wanting to pass it on to other people, because I know how it feels when you've not got the knowledge. You've not got the support, as I've experienced that through university. And it's a horrible place to be, feeling alone like that. So if I can just help one person or 10 people, it doesn't matter how many, as long as someone's been helped.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I know all of the team at Retina UK really appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was such an interesting discussion. Like I said to Aysha, I'm sure we'll get loads of questions for you at the end, but I'm now going to pass on to Lauren. Thank you, Lauren, for joining us. Sorry to keep you waiting there, but can you, same question I started with the others, can you tell us a bit about your background specifically when it comes to your studies?
Yeah, so I did a BTEC in college, and then I took a year out. Well, I applied for university, and then I took a year out, and then it just turned into 6 years. So like I ended up working, and then just life happens, and then I just didn't end up going. So yeah, so 6 years later I applied. I did criminology, bachelor's, and then it just sort of I just naturally fell into doing social work. Masters. So yeah, just finished my first year and finished my second placement. Sorry, my first placement, and the placement have offered me like to do some work, over the summer before my next. So yeah, that's really exciting. But yeah, that's it really.
Yeah, that's super exciting. And is our master's 2 years? So is it 2 years that you'll be doing?
2 years, yeah.
2 years, yeah. And do you think this could be something that you'll continue to do afterwards?
Yeah, so once I've finished my second year, so I'll be qualified then, and then I'll be looking for a job as a social worker, and then so I'm hoping to get in the same place where I live, just to make it convenient, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, perfect. I know from like our previous discussions before, you're in a bit, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but like you said earlier, you're not sure about your sight loss condition at the moment.
Yeah.
How has that at all shaped your experiences so far?
I think the unknown, I think not knowing, there's a few options of what the situation is, but I only realised there was an issue a couple of years ago, which was kind of it was a bit of a shock to the system, and then I think I had a bit of a meltdown really. So it was just before starting uni, because I knew I wanted to be a social worker, and I felt like, because my eyes aren't too bad, there's one of them that's really bad, but the other one kind of makes up for it. And when you've got eye issues, you've got to go to the DVLA and do like an eye test every year. And then I did an eye test, and basically the optician said that I'm going to lose my license, and I just didn't expect. I thought I had like longer time to I thought I'd be qualified by then and working for years and stuff. So I just really panicked, because like, what am I gonna do? Like, it just really shook me. So he said I was gonna lose my license, and I don't know how, but I got like the letter back from the DVLA is saying that they've let me have the license.
Okay.
So I must just be like literally on the cusp of like of losing my license. So luckily I have still got it, so that's okay. But I think that was a really scary moment for me, really. I think just before I started my social work degree as well, I just thought, who's going to really, want to employ me? I'm supposed to be, a social worker in the community and stuff like that. And I just kind of like had a bit of a meltdown, and I was gonna just stop it all and not go for it.
Yeah, and I think that's an experience a lot of people can talk to. Like Ryan just said earlier about how he had, a low moment, then you've got to like bounce back from that as well. And I think a lot of people listening will really sympathize with that. So thank you so much for being so open about your feelings there. Can I ask what helped bring you out of maybe that moment of shock or like lowness you experienced?
I think I remember speaking to, I think everyone who knows Retina UK knows Mark. I think it's strange if you don't know Mark. So I spoke to Mark, and he's just amazing, isn't he? So yeah, he kind of really helped, and he introduced me to someone who is a social worker who has completely lost their vision. And then speaking to her, that made me realise that even if tomorrow, I'll lose all my vision in a day, it doesn't matter, because I can still, Mark talked me through the access to work scheme, all the things that are available, and that, it's obviously going to be harder, but it'll be fine. And I also spoke to one of the tutors at my university, and they said, listen, don't worry, it's not even a thing to think about, don't worry. I was like, right, okay. So yeah, I just think getting a bit of knowledge, because obviously things like access to work and that, I had no idea of, like that's why Retina UK is so important, because I had no idea about things like that. So that just calmed me down a little bit, and yeah, just yeah.
Yeah, and I think we find that a lot, that people just don't hear about what is out there for them, and like the supports that might be in place. So it's really great to hear that you've had that knowledge, and just it's all about, like you said, speaking to people, and like us speaking tonight is what maybe somebody will listen, and then that will be something that motivates them. So what encouragement would you give to someone that's just starting to explore their next step? Maybe they've going through diagnosis and they don't know what they want to do.
I think like what the other guys were saying, I think you've just got to keep moving forward. And if you do have your low moment, or if you do have the point where you think, what if this, what if that, worst case scenario type of thinking, that's okay to feel like that, like that's valid, that's all right, but don't stay there. Just be there for a little bit, feel your emotion, it's okay, but then pick yourself up, move on again, and just reach out to other people, and you learn things from other people, and and I think if there is something that you want to do, I think it's vital to try and speak to people who do that job. Do you know what I mean? To get a bit of, get more of an idea. But yeah, I just think and leaning on people as well, like lean on your friends, on your family, these support groups and stuff like that we're a part of are just so important. Because not one person can't take on the world, like, and it's okay to lean on other people, and we're all in it together.
Yeah, sharing a problem is a problem halved and all that. Like you said, just talking to other people. If I could ask you a vulnerable question right now, and you can ask this how you were, how are you feeling about your future and your career when it comes to your sight loss?
Absolutely fine, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, just feel loads better than what I did. I think the only thing is I tend to get lost. That sounds like I was not even anything to do with my eyesight. I just get on the wrong train, or I like end up in random places, like type of thing. So that's the idea of not driving. I think losing my license is a bit scary, because I'm not really used to like public transport, and I am a bit ditzy, so I get things wrong a lot. But so that's the only really scary element. But other than that, I think I'm just quite confident that it'll all just work out anyway.
Yeah,
So.
and I think that's great. I think that's great. Like you said, it's about talking to people and learning things and just asking all of the questions. Yeah. Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you so much. That's all of my questions for you as well. Thank all three of you for all of your insight. I know I'm biased, but I found this conversation really, really helpful. I'm just going to have a look now at some questions that we may have got. So, okay, here's one. Are there any tools, apps that you or like accessible technology that you guys have used to keep you organized, independent, or confident in work or study? The floor is open if anybody has. Aysha, do you use any of those?
Honestly, there are so many out there. I could give. So I think one of the best apps, and I think it's coming to this whole idea how AI and artificial intelligence has come in. But I think a really good app that I've been using is Seeing AI, and also Be My Eyes has now an AI feature, and it's just incredible, where you can upload a picture of like a supermarket shelf and it would literally tell you everything that's on there. So I think that has been like a game changer for me.
Yeah, glad to hear. Ryan, you mentioned earlier about asking at work for things you might need to do your job. Can you talk us through some of those?
So it's just been able to. I got someone from Visibility Scotland to come in and help set up my computer, show me the different accessibility tools on it, like the Zoom, the SpeakBart, things like that. So if you've got a laptop and you're studying, or if you've got even an iPad and things, you can find like lots of different kind of tools and stuff on there already. But for maybe like your phone, I would probably say, I was actually going to say seeing AI, to be honest with you, because I deal with some paperwork and stuff that I don't need to write on, but I just need to read. So if I can just snap a thing of that and it'll just read it out to me. So it's
Yeah.
really, really useful. I'm thinking about getting the Meta Ray-Bans once the 3rd generation comes out, because I think that's going to be great, to be honest with you, for us.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. Really nice. Lauren, this is one for you actually. So how did you find approaching conversations with your tutors about your sight loss?
To be honest, it was okay. I mean, so my tutors were social workers, so they're generally quite approachable people anyway. So like I think with me, my teacher, I just literally just went and sat down in front of him and just said, "Can I ask you a question?" And that was it really. I think just being forward. If you
Yeah.
don't ask, you don't get type of thing. And I just said straight off the bat, because I remember in class he mentioned something about driving and social work, and about like you wouldn't, I can't remember what he said, but it just like really freaked me out, and I was like, what? And then I said that he'd freaked me out, and he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." And he said, "No, it's not like that." He said, "Obviously if you've got, a disability, it's different. Well, you can do this, this, this." And then it was fine then, but it was that initial like, like, I don't know, yeah, I just tend to sometimes just lose my head a little bit, but yeah, it was fine. Just people are just mostly nice anyway, aren't they? Just little understanding, and yeah,
Yeah,
but
they're
fine.
more, maybe they're kinder than you expect them to be, or like they'll have,
Yeah.
there can be that fear of, oh, what if they're not going to know, what if they don't react well or something, when actually,
Yeah.
if they're a tutor in particular, they've taught hundreds of students, so they're probably going to have had experiences like this before as well.
Exactly, and with them being social workers, they tend to have worked with lots of different disabilities, and along that side of things as well, so they understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was absolutely fine. Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you. This one's quite general, but I actually think a lot of you could answer it. So, how did you decide when to disclose your sight loss in a job application or interview? Now, Aysha, I know you said you're currently applying for jobs. Is this something you have to disclose on your applications?
Well, it's actually optional, but I've kind of thought about it, and I choose to disclose it because I think for me, so one of the volunteering opportunities I do is working with visually impaired children, and that's literally on my CV. I can't hide it, so there's no point in me I think so I kind of choose to be, forward about it. Yeah, I've never really covered it up, to be honest. I'm just quite, straightforward with it.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the theme of tonight's webinar, hasn't it? Just being upfront about your experiences. Sorry, Ryan, what were you going to say?
I think that you should disclose it at the earliest possible opportunity, because if they have a problem with it, then it's the wrong employer anyway. You're not going to get the support to fulfill your job, you know what I mean, and get that fulfillment from your work. You need a massive thing for us as visually impaired people is that we need employers to be confident in our abilities, but also give us the confidence to like do the job, if that makes sense. So if we don't disclose that early enough, then you're also taking the opportunity away from the employer. So if you go to an interview and then you turn up, and can you take them back a little bit? I think try on the application is probably the best place to do it.
Yeah, great advice, thank you. Okay, another one. What support services helped each of you transition to higher education or employment? Anybody want to start?
I would always I think if any sort of issue or transition or absolutely anything at all, I would just Retina UK would just be the place to go, really. That would be, I wouldn't really go anywhere else or speak to anyone else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and obviously we really appreciate that. And it's maybe a good stepping stone. Like you said, you'll get in touch with certain people and then they can, our community, our volunteers who all have lived experience can also then give you the right steps of the next steps you should take, because they'll have their experiences as well. Yeah,
definitely.
Ryan, Aysha, anything else you want to add to that question?
You know what? During my degree, I did at a university, which, I forgot to mention earlier, where they weren't great at accommodating for me. For instance, when I asked if, before I went on campus, if there's someone that could show me around the university, they said no. Resources weren't uploaded. Seminar teachers were supposed to be told they had a visually impaired student. I would have to go up to them again and again and again just to remind them, by the way, I'm visually impaired. Can you upload these slides? I can't see them, stuff like that. And it was actually, again, my mum, the, well of all knowledge, she said to me, get in touch with Thomas Pocklington. And I reached out to them. And they said to me, what you're experiencing is, it's not acceptable that, the university aren't meeting your needs. And at the end of the day, you're going to suffer because it's your studies that are at stake. So I got them involved and they were really great. They contacted the university on my behalf. It ended up in a really large meeting with the head of the university, eventually apologizing to me, saying, I'm really sorry this has happened. It's not going to happen again. So by the third year, I, wasn't facing any of these challenges. So I think Thomas Pocklington was really, crucial to that.
Yeah, so glad to hear that. It's like, don't allow yourself to accept less, basically, less than what you deserve. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Perfect. Thank you guys so much.
I think that was my kind of point about like the employer as well. Don't accept an employer that's not going to support you properly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't accept anything that isn't enough. That's what I say.
Yes, exactly. That's what I tried to say earlier, but I couldn't get the word out. Absolutely, you're right. There's no need to. Right, that actually brings us to the end of our questions. I just have one question that I would like for each of you to ask to kind of end our webinar, and that would be, if you could give one piece of advice to 16-year-old you back then, what would it be now? I'll give you a good 20 seconds to think about that. But yeah, what would you give 16-year-old you advice for now, especially when thinking about education and your career?
I think I can go first on that one. It's advice that I didn't know at the time, but I naturally did anyway. But I would wanted to have told myself it, that don't turn any opportunity down. If you think it's no a good opportunity, just take it anyway. Because at the end of the day, you get years down the line, you look back at your CV and you're like, oh, I've done this, and then you're jamming. You know what I mean? People can then help you. Employers can want to have you in the business. You need to bulk that CV up. As an employability mentor, it's massive.
Yeah.
Do as much as you can.
Exactly. Each thing has its own experience, right? So you're just building on those skills.
You build skills, you build experiences, you build a better human, a better self, really.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. Lauren, what do you think?
I think it would be just to not worry so much all the time, because it just takes away the now. Like it just steals the moment, and I think you can just waste so much of your life worrying about things. What if this happens? What if that happens? And it's not happening yet. Like it's okay, and everything always works out in the end anyway. So it'd just be to just relax and stop stressing out so much and that sort of thing. Yeah, just emotionally.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you. And Aysha?
My life at 16, I was just all over the place. I would say just everything will be okay and everything will work out, for the better. That's what I would say.
Yeah, lovely. Kind of the same message there. Thank you three so much for joining us tonight. It has been so helpful. It's been so interesting as well. You've each had such different experiences, and I think somebody will be able to take something back, of all of you, to be honest, but especially each of you, at one point. So thank you for taking your time out to join me tonight and also provide all of your experience and knowledge. I'm just going to finish tonight by sharing some of the support that Retina UK does offer. As you said, we've talked a lot about that tonight. And if you are somebody that is a young person, as Ryan mentioned, there is the Young Adults Peer Support Group, which connects people, young people between the ages of 18 to 30 that might be navigating, all sorts of different interests and hobbies, but it is a really useful group to kind of share that experience and just to talk to people who have that lived experience. We also have a talk and support service, which offers friendly one-to-one conversations with trained volunteers. And we also do have information, as Lauren said, about access to work, volunteering at the further study, and all of that information can be found on our website, and our website can be found at retinauk.org.uk, or we have our helpline, which the number is 0300 111 4000 if you would like that personalised support, and then they can put you in touch with the relevant people that will be able to answer your queries. Retina UK holds a monthly webinar most months, and also a monthly podcast. Our next webinar will be taking place in October, and you can find more information about what that webinar will be and the topic it is through our social media channels and our newsletter. Our social media, you can find us on all of them, but Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok now, and also YouTube and Spotify we're on. Before I leave you tonight, I can't leave you without mentioning our big event that is coming to London in September, which is our 2025 annual conference. Like I said, it's taking place in London on the 20th of September at the Holiday Inn in Regent's Park. It's a full day event from 10 till 4, and we have a jam-packed program which you can hear from professors. There'll be also biotech companies talking. We also have a head of accessibility and disability innovation at Google. We also will be having a really interesting session in the afternoon where you will hear from our community members, some of which are on tonight's webinar, who will talk about different themes, so like employment, sport and leisure, mobility and travel, and day-to-day living. And all of that is happening in person, but it is also happening online. Now, if you would like to register for the conference, you can find that on our website, which is retinauk.org.uk/annual-conference, or you're welcome to ring our office, which is 01280 821 334, where members of our staff will be able to sign you up on your behalf, or you can ask more questions about the event. That if you are also aged between 18 to 30, funding is available towards travel and accommodation for those that attend our conference in person. Thank you for being with us tonight, and thank you three for sharing all of your experiences. Have a lovely evening. Goodbye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
bye.
Fine.